Hey guys, welcome into Teaching Fishing Anglers Club. Again, I'm Captain Lance Valentine. Good to see you guys. I hope you enjoyed the seminar we did a week or two ago covering summer peak walleye. So lots of things there to kind of unpack. We want you to kind of start thinking, we've talked a lot about trip planning, and one of the things we wanted to do with this month's seminar and this month's information was get you thinking about big picture and then whittling down to little picture. So one of the big picture items is calendar period. So we really wanted to focus on walleye in the summer peak. So let's do a real quick review so we can get ready for our Q&A, live Q&A coming up here, and you guys get some good questions for me. Summer peak walleye, what happens, right? We talk about water temperatures being in the mid 60s to lower 70s. Fish are positive, short period of activity. The lake is exploding with life. Spawn is over, bait fish have hatched, everything is kind of happening. The whole foods chain is kind of really rolling. Now, advantages. Why is this a big deal to us? Remember, fish can be anywhere that bait's available, 2 feet of water, 40 feet of water, on the surface, on the bottom, in the middle, in the weeds, in the rocks. It doesn't really matter. Lots of productive patterns, so you can fish any way or anywhere you want to fish, usually during this time frame. Competition for the best feeding areas creates aggressive walleyes and aggressive bites, so it's pretty easy to catch and fish. And the walleyes, again, remember, they'll move a lot. They'll use these same areas, but they may be shallow water weeds one day, deep water rocks the next day, back in the shallow water weeds. So keep moving, keep looking for that most active bite because these fish are aggressive. So we got to keep moving and keep looking. Why should we fish it? Right? Fish are hungry, they're aggressive. We already talked about that. This is a period that walleyes grow the most. This is the first time since spawning that bigger females are going to start to gather up together. That's a key part of this. Ask me a couple of questions about that. That's an important part about this this calendar period. Again, competition for the best feeding areas creates aggressive walleye, and there's tons of bait everywhere. Bugs, bait fish, doesn't matter. Lots of things happening with the food chain. That's an important part of this. Go back before you come back and we do the live Q&A about summer peak. Go back, go to the Teaching Fishing YouTube page, re-watch the bait fish seminar and kind of get an idea of late spring, early summer, summer peak, where the bait fish are and what the bait fish in your lake are doing. That's going to be a good little background for our Q&A. All right, let's talk about fishing. We talked about crankbaits, cast or trolled. A great time to try faster retrieves, aggressive crankbaits. Cranks will work shallow if you want to cast them, over the weeds if you want to cast them, deep if you want to troll them, and anywhere in between for suspended fish. Lots of crankbait fishing this time of year, casting or trolling. Spoons, I love spoons. It's a great time to fish spoons fairly quick, 2.6, 2.8, sometimes 3. Spoons and lead core, one of my favorite ways to fish this time of year in basin areas. Water that's 18 to maybe 25, 28 feet deep. I love spoons, the middle part of the water column during the summer peak. Great way to catch them. Lead core, divers, weights, doesn't matter. However you want to get your spoons down there, all of that is going to help you catch fish. Because again, remember all the positive things that the fish are doing. Spoons are a great way to catch those fish during summer peak, and one of my favorite times of year to actually troll spoons. If you're a spinner guy, or if you have never caught a lot of fish on spinners, now is a good time to learn, right? Spinners with crawlers are great summer peak choice. Bigger blades, I like size 5, size 6 Colorados. I like size 4, size 5 Willows, size 5, size 6 Indianas are my favorites. Suspended harnesses to get to aggressive fish. I wouldn't necessarily this time of year spend a lot of time fishing harnesses on the bottom. There's other ways to get those bottom fish. It's a little more fun, I would say, but bottom bouncers do work. Use your spinners, though, middle part of the water column for aggressive fish or over tops of the weeds for fish that are living in the weeds. Great time to pull spinners. Casting action baits, jigging spoons, swim jigs, rattle baits, glide baits like sugar minnows or jigging wraps, all a great and fun option for shallower fish. Again, this time of year, lots of fish in 8 to 15, 18 feet of water, so you can cast humps. Bottom composition changes, rock piles, weed beds, wood cover. All those are great options for casting, riding your hand, casting baits that have a lot of action. When the fish hit these, they absolutely drill them. Great time for doing this, especially if you live close to a reservoir. So if you've got a shallow water reservoir near you, these fish get into these shallow water bays that have sand bottoms and wood because that's where the shad spawn. Go back to that bait fish and watch it, guys. You can get a lot of fish doing this on these reservoirs and any other lake that you actually fish. If you like to have a ride in your hand and go a little bit slower, don't forget about live bait rigs with crawlers or leeches. Find fish on the bottom. If they're off the bottom a foot or two, drop a live bait rig on there, sit right on top of them with your anchor mode, or move really slow. Really fun time to catch fish. Crawlers, leeches work the best. Minnows are hard to keep alive this time of year because the water's too warm. My favorite is a big leech, slip sinker rig, drop it right on top of those fish, wait to feel the little thud, a little line out there, count to about 20, zip, and you've got a good fish. Fun way to fish, especially on inland lakes where there's not a lot of prime spots or there's not a lot of walleyes maybe. Planted walleye lakes on deep weed edges, or in the Great Lakes on the humps and bumps that you would fish casting. Sometimes you can do this. One of my favorite ways to fish. We don't do it enough here, but something you can do during the summer peak. Okay, why is the summer peak so cool? Because what happens afterwards, as these fish go into the summer, fishing gets a little bit tougher. They're going to settle into more precise patterns. The peak of the food chain and weed growth, there's all the bait. Weeds are really thick after summer peak. Summer peak is when they're starting to kind of get there and fish are really using them. Once you get past summer peak, they're really heavy, they're hard to fish, makes fishing a lot tougher. Fish are going to feed less after the summer peak, but more intense. Smaller windows, but intense windows, but there's lots more time of no fish biting. And the thermoclines are going to start to set up and send fish shallow or into cover. So there's a quick Cliff Notes recap of summer peak walleye, a time of fulfillment. Take advantage of it. Study the workshop we did. Come back and go back through these notes real quick, these bullet points. Then go back and watch the seminar. Please go to the YouTube channel and check out the bait fish seminar before you ask me questions, because there's a lot there to unpack. Bait fish are key to summer peak. All right, see you guys back here in a week or two to do our live Q&A on summer peak walleye. Can't wait to see you guys next time.